What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to Wrestler Geeks. I'm your host, Justin Shaw, and my partner in crime is...
The Fox That Rocks, Black Fox.
Alright, so picking up where we left off on the last show, let's continue off with the remaining matches of AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view, which happened on November 9th, 2019.
Alright then. So now we are at the next point for the ladies. This would be for the AEW Women's Championship. Emi Sakura versus the current AEW champion, the first AEW champion, Riho.
Yes.
Now, both these women have come from Japan. They've wrestled in previous other entertainments. I believe, Ice Queen? I believe. I'm checking again in my notes. On my notes here, right here.
They're from Japan?
No, they're from Japan, but they've wrestled in previous. I need to make sure I remembered the name. Yeah, okay. It was Ice Ribbon. That's what it was. Okay, I wanted to make sure about that.
Oh, that's the name of the organization.
That was one of the organizations that she wrestled under currently. And now, last month,
I thought they were from Pro Wrestling Noah. Don't they have a women's roster?
They have something for that as well, but I'm not sure about that.
Right.
But nonetheless, last month, Riho defeated Nyla Rose to become the first ever AEW Women's Champion. And this time she faces a person who trained her, Emi Sakura, well known in Japan as well currently. And back then and currently, she's also trained like over a dozen different Japanese wrestlers.
Hasn't Emi Sakura trained Riho as well?
Yeah, she trained her as well. This is a student. This is one of those student versus teacher matches, and it's actually a cool match, especially like for
mentor and disciple.
Yeah, well, yes, and it's one of those great matches where you see that the whole mentor relationship, and the fact that Emi Sakura pulled out like all the stops. There were like so many points in there where like she was countering, she was reversing.
There was a lot of grappling. I think Emi Sakura was the grappler. And Riho was more like the striker, or doing like moves or sneaky techniques out of desperation.
Yeah, well, that's definitely it. It was more of a power and technique versus striking and speed. And like I have to say, like the reverse into the backbreaker, the straight up kick to the face. I wasn't even.
Wait, didn't Emi Sakura put Riho on a bridge?
Yes.
That was crazy.
That's old school status. That's how they do it back then, man. And that's definitely one of the.
Emi Sakura almost made Riho into a pretzel.
Well, to be fair, like I'd also like to point how Riho also did a bunch of stomps to her. I felt like I was watching a low-key match. She was stomping on her all those times.
I was thinking about Finn Balor. The coup de grace.
Yeah, but like I mean, she was stomping her, and I definitely have to say that I didn't know what AEW was gonna do with making Riho the champion. I definitely thought there were like others that they were going to choose, but I'm definitely glad that they're trying to they're showcasing other professions from like other areas and seeing how they're doing in that whole scenario. Like I for what it's worth, for her first defense on the pay-per-view, this was definitely a great fight. For what it's worth, this was a good match. I will say that again. Riho did a good job. She basically came out like she won, and she managed to turn it around, especially with like the power and strength advantage that Emi had over her. But she managed to utilize what she could do. She made it with those powerful stomps. I'm glad she won. Congratulations, Riho. I hope I hope your reign continues, and I hope to see more great matches from you. So
I think she's gonna have a really big bullseye on her back, especially with Nyla Rose. No, especially with Nyla Rose. So I won't be surprised if there's gonna be a feud coming up soon between Nyla Rose and Riho.
Okay.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah, definitely.
We got 2 matches
Next,
coming
and of
up.
course, we have to talk about this one.
Yeah.
The AEW World Championship.
Go ahead. You introduce the match and
I'll let you go. Go ahead.
I'll let you go.
All right.
Then I'll say my piece.
Okay. Well, let's just say the man himself, Chris Jericho, the
pain maker.
Yes, the first AEW champion, world champion, versus the brain behind one of the brains behind this operation, and one of the guys who made this come to ground, this project, this idea, Cody Rhodes.
Okay, before you say anything about this match, first off, this was my least favorite match.
Okay.
And I was disappointed that Cody made a stipulation that I had to disagree upon. And also, this match made me want to dislike MJF even more.
Right.
He's entertaining, don't get me wrong. I love his promos. You know, I like his gimmick as a heel. For some weird reason, he was going around saying that, oh, I'm Cody's friend. But I could never see him as a face, ever. Even if he goes anti-authoritative, I just couldn't see him that way. I always saw him as a heel.
Okay.
As a heel.
All right.
I kind of see MJF is entertaining, you know. I don't like him, but he's entertaining, especially how he puts himself out there on the mic.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, I am the other hand. I am the opposite. I understand one of the reasons why. My personal opinion, the reason Cody made this stipulation was, and it makes sense because you do not want another situation where back in the day, Vince McMahon, like there were times when Vince McMahon himself won championships. I don't think people wanted that kind of thing because that's another thing people would think, well, Cody's part ownership. He basically one day is going to basically challenge for the championship. I think that's to take away from it and to get him out of the world title picture.
Oh, so that's what happened.
That's my idea.
Now I understand, because it kind of made me feel that.
That's why the stipulation.
It kind of made me feel.
It made you feel like basically it was just like it was a bad call or something.
It was a bad call, but it just kind of made me feel that after this match that he just wasn't going to wrestle anymore.
No,
that's how I really felt about this match.
No, my personal opinion on that is.
But I still think this was a stupid stipulation.
No,
it should have been called a stipulation.
I can't agree with this one. As I said, I agree on Cody's stipulation. It said story-wise, it draws Cody away from the world title picture on what they're trying to build right now. Currently, in my opinion, they're trying to basically build Chris Jericho as their first AEW champion. So him losing his defense in one of his first pay-per-view defenses against Cody Rhodes would kind of hurt him in the way of him being their first champion.
And I think this match also built up MJF.
As well. That's another thing it paid off on. It basically leads to a... Because you got to remember, first off, let's take a look at the beginning of the match and what we thought about it.
It's a combination of EC3 and Chris Jericho.
We'll get into MJF in a minute. But the whole thing about it is, let's get into the match first, because I think we kind of overshot it. The whole thing between Chris Jericho and Cody, I say I liked it. I definitely liked it because, as I said, you stated before in our last episode that AEW is good at doing the promos. They definitely did a great promo between Cody and between Jericho. The promo that Cody did himself. It was golden. It's definitely something I wanted to see because this was the Cody. Like you gotta understand, for
Are
me,
you referring to the promo where he's actually like at home, writing down notes and
no, not that
contemplating?
one. Not that
that
one. No, that one. The one he basically did on Dynamite. So the whole thing is, for me, I've liked Cody Rhodes since he was in WWE, and I always felt like he was going to do more. And after he left WWE, became the American Nightmare, became the NWA champion, started this.
Yes. Oh my god.
Started this and basically showcasing the potential that we saw on another stage. I'm happy for him that he got that opportunity. So for me, throughout this fight, him fighting Jericho, him being put in this point, it told a good story, and it showcased the fact that, eventually it gave you an idea, a taste of what a possible championship match. Because I definitely don't think this is the end. He will get another shot. Not now. Not at the current moment.
I just want to see him, continue wrestling in AEW, possibly.
Yeah, no,
even though, regardless of the outcome, he said he wasn't gonna wrestle for the AEW belt again. But
Yeah,
I would like to see him wrestle more often in AEW, if possible. But I think regardless of what happened with this match between him and Chris Jericho, I think his situation is going to transition maybe with MJF and with
definitely.
MJF's new accomplice.
We'll get into that one as well. But let me take from the notes that I have on here about it. The idea is essentially put. So my whole thing is, throughout this fight, I knew Jericho wasn't going to lose because they were going to put him, but I knew for a fact that Cody was definitely going to showcase a great skill set, and he did it. It was basically a Cody Rhodes match, down and down. But he hit a bunch of amazing spots. I think one of my favorite personal spots was something I knew. I thought this was going to be how the match ended. Was the point where he tried to use the disaster kick on Jericho, and Jericho turned it into the code breaker. I definitely thought at that moment, okay, this is the match. And then he managed to kick out. He managed to do that, and then he hit Jericho with the crossroads. And I was like, oh, wait, okay, maybe this might actually happen. No, Jericho didn't kick. My hope was dashed at that. I thought it was also nobody, you also got to print up. Did you notice the thing between him and Dean Malenko?
I saw Dean Malenko over there.
You have to remember, back in WCW days, their rivalry was great. I love their rivalry.
I was a huge fan of Dean Malenko back when he was in WCW. He was known as the guy with 1,000 holds.
Yeah, and Jericho the 1,001. But nonetheless, I also like the fact that Jericho tried to get in Cody's mom's face and she smacked the taste out of his mouth.
Oh yeah, that was
I was like,
funny.
oh, yeah, you should have seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But no, I'm saying he should have watched his mouth. I definitely say that between the two, it was definitely a good fight. I enjoyed it to the most part. The way it ended.
I enjoyed it too, but like I said, this
no, but the way it ended,
it was a stupid stipulation that Cody made.
Yeah, well, I can't agree with it. I look at it from longevity's point of view, but I do like that. We knew, the one thing I worried about this is basically who would look I knew it would make Jericho look strong, but I didn't know how it would make Cody look. But it actually ended right because you have to think about it. Cody never tapped out to Jericho.
That's true.
It was MJF who threw in the towel.
Yeah, which
so it's
was
not
stupid.
His thing. No, actually it makes sense because think about it. It doesn't hurt Cody because Cody never tapped. Somebody else intervened in that. Yes, Jericho
purpose.
won. Yeah, just Jericho won, but he technically didn't break Cody. He didn't. He got him in the walls, but he managed to he couldn't make Cody tap. Yes, the record books will say that Chris Jericho won the match, and he won the battle, but he never won the war.
True.
The Inner Circle and the Elite are still going to feud.
There's got to be a stable to close off this match.
I definitely foresee it in the future. We got to definitely foresee what's going to happen.
The Inner Circle is a huge stable. I mean, come on. You have Santana and Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
You have Sammy Guevara.
Right.
You have
Hager.
Jake Hager, formerly known as
Jack Swagger,
Jack
yes.
Swagger, who
But-
also competes in Bellator MMA.
Yeah, well, I'm also glad the fact that
And possibly MJF. Maybe MJF.
I believe he is. I believe he's a member now, but no, that's another thing. Nonetheless, though, once again, you got to give the bubbly to Mr. Jericho.
The bubbly.
Yeah, him winning. You know, he won. Congratulations, champ. Make sure you know who's the belt. Now, let's move on to our final match, which is
John Moxley versus
Kenny Omega, the lights out
For those
match.
of you who don't know, John Moxley,
Formerly known as Dean Ambrose.
yes. Honestly,
people know who he is.
I
before.
don't know which hardcore match was worse. I don't know which hardcore match was worse. The John Moxley versus Kenny Omega or another hardcore match that I've seen a few days back before this pay-per-view. It was an MLW pay-per-view. It was a hardcore match between Jimmy Havoc. I don't know if you heard of Jimmy Havoc.
I know.
It was Jimmy Havoc, Mence Warner, and Bestia 666.
Okay.
They did a match called Stairway to Hell match. It was kind of sort of like a ladder match, but there was like a roll of barbed wire hanging on
Right.
top of the ladder
Okay.
match.
Well.
And it was mostly, a hardcore match.
Okay.
But I will have to say that match was probably worse than this match that we're going to talk about now, because I never seen Mence Warner take a roll of barbed wire and like put it through like someone's face or head over, which was ugh.
Well, I mean, okay. I won't say it's the worst. I won't say it's definitely the worst match ever, but nonetheless, I was in my group chat I have like friends. We were talking about this in the group chat, and one of my friends said they believe that it was more or less oversold. And you know what? After looking at it, and I reviewed it as well before the show, I needed to I understood where he was coming from about the oversold part. It definitely. One of the things I think that hurt this match was the fact that at the time when the feud was still hot, Moxley had gotten himself injured, and at the time he couldn't really. The match didn't go on when it was supposed to. Definitely, that's one of the things that hurt it. I will say, for what they were trying to do, it wasn't a bad approach. Because I'm not gonna lie, the most hilarious thing was the mousetrap. The mousetraps, I thought that was kind of funny, but that's just me. But because nobody likes stepping on mousetraps. JR said he doesn't like those.
Mousetraps or Legos?
Yeah, I don't like either of those. But nonetheless, throughout this, it was John. Everybody forgets this is John Moxley's habitat. This is he's one of those. He was basically, this was him before he was watered down to Dean Ambrose in that WWE style. But
I believe even years before he went to WWE, he was also a competitor in Combat Zone Wrestling, and I believe he also collaborated with Sami Callihan, who is one of my personal favorite
and current
hardcore wrestlers, along with Jimmy Havoc, even though he didn't wrestle in CCW, but
Yeah, and also the current TNA champion as well. Nonetheless, that's for another show, for another matter. But
Right.
nonetheless, the point is, Moxley, this was his element. He definitely was showcasing that,
I like this match. This was entertaining. you know?
I think it was oversold a little. I'm not gonna lie, there were some parts that I felt like
Because of the barbed wire.
that wasn't too much of a problem. I thought Kenny did some good moments as well. The glass thing, but I think he kind of didn't need to throw that glass down. He tried to throw it down his mouth or whatever. Okay, he didn't need to do that.
That was
but,
overdoing it.
I thought it was cool how Moxley ended up tearing off the ring board. That part I was like, okay, yes, you can use that. That definitely showcases it. And those hurt. You remove all that and everything, that's just pure wood and DDTing on your head. You're gonna go on. And then the fact that it went all the way up the ramp, it got to the point where basically the Young Bucks did try to get involved. They they're trying to tell him, hey, calm down. In the end, Moxley won.
I don't even think Kenny knew what he got himself into.
No, I definitely think what he knew what he was getting himself into. I think, as I said, it was definitely a decent match. It was not as great as what they were trying to hype it up to be. I will say that. That's something else. But the idea is Moxley won. Omega once again has lost another pay-per-view. I'm just curious on how they're going to basically do this for him, what they're going to have him do. And I definitely don't think the feud is over. If anything, I definitely think for now there's going to be something else going to happen. And at least I won't say the payoff worked too well. It gave us the supposed end. I don't think it's over, but we gotta wait and see. Congratulations, Jon Moxley. He won his big match. Kenny Omega, gotta wait and see. He's gonna bounce back from this because he's Kenny Omega. He's the.
I was disappointed on the AEW Dynamite show after the Full Gear pay-per-view because Jon Moxley was back in action like nothing, whereas Kenny Omega, he still had to recuperate from his injuries.
That's because Moxley's a monster when it comes to that.
Kenny Omega, he has great endurance. He could take a lot of hits, but as far as
I've seen quite a few.
Who got hit with the mouse trap? Was it Kenny Omega or Jon Moxley?
I believe it was Omega. He dropped him on it.
Omega with the mouse traps and him going through that barbed wire.
No, actually, it was Moxley who went through
Moxley?
I definitely say that this was an interesting feud for it. I'm trying to gather my thoughts on this, but we gotta wait and see where the payoff is. I definitely am looking forward to see what's going to happen next. That's my attention now. What's the next plan? And overall, I will say this: Full Gear was definitely a good pay-per-view going forward. Like, it definitely had great matches. I said before, Santana, Ortiz, Young Bucks, triple threat tag team. Those were good bouts. I enjoyed them. Could some of these have been better? Yeah. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the pay-per-view.
I enjoyed the pay-per-view too. It's just, that match with Chris Jericho and Cody was my least favorite.
Nonetheless.
But overall, with AEW, they have done well so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to, bring this up as well. Me personally, I don't understand why there's, remember back in the day there was like Monday Night Wars?
Yeah.
Now there's Wednesday Night Wars. Me personally, like, WWE cannot compete with AEW because WWE is more like mainstream wrestling, whereas like AEW, it's more like, kind of sort of like on the indie side. AEW, like I said, I like AEW because it has the wrestlers that I want to see.
AEW, good job on it. I'm looking forward to seeing more pay-per-views. I definitely want to see what the storyline is going to be doing. Yeah, you definitely
AEW.
As I said, I want to see more of what they can do. I'm looking forward to seeing where all these feuds are coming to culminate and what the payoff is for everybody.
We're almost out of time, but I want to thank everyone for watching. Please feel free to email me at shawjustin576@gmail.com.
I'm still currently working on a new email. I'm going to let you guys know when that happens. So for now, just email him if anything else.
Once again, this is Wrestler Geeks. Have fun, be safe, and don't get into any fights. We'll see you next time.